So guys, finally, Rivers State has a new commissioner of police after the IGP messed up during the last election. Guess what? He has shamefully given Rivers State a new CP. So guys, police, in short, they just prove to Nigerians that they do help INEC in rigging elections.
Your new commissioner of police, kindly extend all the cooperation you gave to me to him. The Almighty God continue to be your guide. Yeah, welcome. We wish you all the successes you deserve. Thank you very much.
So for me, I think the Nigerian police should be very careful because they've had their image being damaged for a very long time, and they should start looking at their reputational capital because for so long, the image of the Nigerian police has been brutalized, and that's why they came up with this, the police is your friend ideology or terminology. So far so good, the Nigerian people are trying to say, okay, let's see if you are friends. And the happening in Rivers State is seriously disturbing. The whole world is watching. Even the incident that transpired yesterday, the burning of that very area was... I saw it on international news. Sorry, someone from abroad sent it to me. I was even in Nigeria. I didn't know what was happening in Rivers State. That tells you that whatever is happening in Nigeria or any part of this country goes around the world, and it affects the country's sovereignty. It affects our capital, our reputational capital, and also the Wike himself. I think, for me personally, I would advise him to take a departure from what is happening in Rivers State. He's been so blessed from this great country, Nigeria, being a two-time governor. I think former minister as well, and now presently a third-time governor in FCT, and one of the fourth-time governor in Rivers State. I think that would not go to fly. He should first of all, maintain his reputational capital and political capital, because I can see what is happening now is self-destroying his political capital and reputational capital in the area of greed, in the area of love for power, and in the area of interference in governance. The president should call him to order, and that is the truth. The president should not release any statement saying people to share their sword. Nobody's sharing sword here. There is a constitutional governor in place, and that governor is in charge of the security of that state. Whoever interferes in the leadership of that state, I think, should be called to book, and the IGP must invite the FCT minister and say, hey, enough is enough, because I'm in charge of the security of the people of this great nation. The IGP should fear no one except being loyal to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And I think as far as the role of the police is concerned in Rivers State, the conversation may be inexhaustible. Yeah. Because if we put it in proper context, prior to this time, some months back, political stalwarts in Rivers State had complained, that some of their activities were being disrupted by the police. I recall some of those reports came through from Rivers State. And ahead of this election, the local government election, we also saw, that federal high court order stating that the police should not provide security for the election. But the night before, in an event where, tempers flared and we saw Governor Fubara, condemning the action of the police, they released a statement saying that they foiled an attempt by the police to gain access to the RCEC office in Rivers State just the night before the election. So the question is, can you say, that the police in Rivers State has, put in place the primary concern of security of lives and property above all other consideration in dispensing its duty in Rivers State?
You see, Sir Robert Fields, the founder of modern-day policing, says the absence of crime best proved the effectiveness of policing during his 1829 policing reforms in the United Kingdom. We draw measurements, as analysts, we draw our measurements from the absence of crime. And when you see things like this happening, like the incident that happened in Rivers State, it's also going to be credited to the effectiveness of the policing system, which states very clearly that they failed in the area of protection of lives and property. Because so one would think, or a sane person would want to, put one or two together and say, hey, maybe the police is complicit. How come you pull out in the morning and the criminal element struck in the afternoon, or you pull out some few hours ago and this criminal element struck? Is there a call for you to pull out? Then, secondly, judicial shopping is disturbing. Our judicial system must come to the drawing board and ensure they have a unified system of, granting judgment or whatever the case may be. For example, if I run to Cross River State to go and obtain a judgment, I should be able to see from the system if this case has been instituted somewhere else. And if the case has been instituted somewhere else in Sokoto, for example, I will send these people back and say, hey, this case has been instituted somewhere else in Sokoto or Lagos State. We will not hear this case or listen to this case. But from that directive from the judge that granted that judgment that the police should not provide security, I think it's an abuse to our national security. I strongly believe maybe the judge did not go through the prayers of the people who came before him, because if he had gone through the prayers, a sane person would not want to say, hey, don't provide security. The opposite side of that is that let them kill themselves, let them go and die. Everybody should be at risk. And the police should not even take such kind of judgment, because the police are not liable to the court in the area of life and properties. It's only when the police action is being queried in the area of use of force, justifying the use of force or the measurability of the use of force, or maybe action or inaction of the police, then the court can query them. But they cannot authorize the police not to protect lives and property. The police duty is to assess situation, ensure that things don't go out of hand. Because the truth is, if things go out of hand, their officers and men will pay with their life. The military will pay with their lives. So why jeopardize the life of the officers and men and not putting the right perspective? I think that order is a wrong. The action of the police is a wrong. And this should not be happening. The president must ensure that he step in. Because, you know, in Nigeria, we are very good in centralizing our problem. In the sense that if anything is going on wrong, in Lagos State or Kaduna State, all blame goes to Abuja. So the president must also remember, if anything goes wrong in River State, all blames will fall to Abuja.
Now, in calling out all parties in this matter, you know, we saw that same night that I referenced, you know, when the River State government complained about an attempt to take possession of the ASIAC office. The governor saying that the election must hold, we do not need security in River State. But after this attack, there's been a sort of U-turn with the governor requesting security. The question is, what would security now look like in River State, particularly after this turn of events?
Image is very important. The Nigerian police and other security agents must also remember that their image is very important. You see, there was an advert, I don't want to mention the name. Someone was doing an advert for a particular brand, and its action and behavior goes against that brand, and the brand withdrew the authority from him to, you know, represent them. Now, if our police and security agents are not careful, River State will be in a state of mess. River State is a very, very, very lovely state. Beautiful people, great people, brave people, and also they are contributing to our national development in the area of GDP and resource control and resources as well. So if anything goes on wrong in the River State, I tell you, like I already talked about criminal window, the police must try to ensure they shut down that criminal window, anticipate the crime in progress or whatever the case may be. Then for the election, the governor, an election took place that very Saturday. It was peaceful. And how come during election we experienced peace and post-election we experienced violence? That tells you that some people are aggrieved with the processes. Some people are also not happy with what went wrong. That is love for power. And they are not putting the Nigerian state first. They are not putting the River State first. What they are putting first is their interest, is their own self-enrichment. So right. I think we need to start bringing people to justice.
So whether or not they're mixed signals, the police should do what it ought to do. Exactly. No matter whose ox is gored. I don't know how many arrests have been made, because there's been a lot of crime committed, and you'd expect that all these cells will be full right now. You know, people being arrested as a result.
Who's going to arrest them? Who sent them?
Well, the police is the police any day.
Anytime, anywhere.
Their job is clear and they are aware of it. So I imagine, and this is something we'll be following up on, and we understand that there will be a security briefing today, so we'll get some more insight into that. But you would expect that arrests will have been made. But this is a point I want you to also speak to.
All right.
What we're seeing playing out in River State. I wish I could say what we saw play out in River State, but it's not over just yet.
It's still playing over a year now.
So what is still playing out in River State? What lessons can we draw from it in this whole debate around state police or not? People had said state police is the way to go. But if there was a state police already instituted and this crisis happened, do you think you will have solved the problem or even made a bad situation worse?
You see, Nigeria is a sensitive state, and the era we are now is that we need to start looking at character. You know, most people think the establishment of state policing is going to mitigate or possibly eliminate crime. Kayode, you and I will live with crime till eternity. The whole essence of crime prevention is to mitigate it.
Why do I feel like saying I reject it?
Do not reject it, because if you say you reject it, I will tell you.
I will say no. I don't want that. Please, I reject it.
It's not.
No, point taken.
It's not.
Point taken.
It's not. You know, Nigerian alone. All over the world. Thousands of years ago, from the Bible, Cain killed his brother. Till date, people are still killing their brothers. People are still killing their sisters.
Yeah.
The people of River State are brothers and sisters. They kill themselves. They fight it themselves. So that tells you that crime will still keep on, taking place all over the country and all over the world. But that is why institutions like the police, the military, and other security agencies were established to mitigate crime, so that it will be as low as reasonably acceptable, practicable. So for me, I think state policing is the way to go. But I said it the last time I came here that state governors will possibly abuse state policing.
So how is it the way to go when you already anticipate abuse? Because people are now projecting that if there was state police, what will have happened is the governor would say, well, state police, take charge. And the federal police will get orders to take charge.
Go and take it.
You get what? So imagine police clashing.
Okay. Well, you know, that is the, you know, most times when we talk about state policing and we are not looking at the consequence, or the last time I was here, I talked about the negative side of state policing. It has its own positive side, quick response. If, peradventure, state policing was in existence in River State, what the IGP did in withdrawing his police officers wouldn't have caused any issue, because the state governor would have, you know, deployed his state police within that given area, and there will be no federal interference, because as it is now, Wiki is representing the federal government as the minister of the Federal Capital Territory. So for me, it looks like federal interference, because he's a member of the federal of the FEC. So the people of River State, the state governor himself, I think should also call his boss and speak to his boss and say, "Excuse me, sir, what have I done wrong? Do we need to settle this?" Because the truth is, and that must remain, that you do not fight the finger that fed you or bite the finger that fed you, but not to the detriment of the people. You first put the people first, then whatever the case may be. But the structure of a team, because when you talk about crime management or whatever the case may be, Kayode, you need to first of all identify what the problem is. So now, you guys always grant, you know, chats with the Wiki and others. Can you please ask them to tell us what that structure is all about? Is it political structure? Is it stomach structure? Is it what type of structure?
You maybe missed the interview with the governor yesterday, where the question was asked about what exactly is the situation.
What is the structure?
You probably missed the previous ones where we've had the FCT minister
I missed it.
asking those things. So these are questions that are put forward. But you know, as politicians are, those things are always very closely guarded. They let out what they want to let out. And for majority of people who are speaking to this, they'll tell you, even we do not know.
There is not a structure.
They just find themselves
it should
in
be documented
the middle of the battle,
and to the public.
They find themselves as on one side or the other fighting against each other, and that's the point we're trying to raise, Bukola.
And you know, those are very, very valid questions, because as the people of Rivers, they demand some form of, they require some form of accountability. Even if they do not demand it, they should know why, you know, there's this unending back and forth between their leaders, and especially because they are the casualty, you know, in all of this, amid all of this. If there was destruction of life and property in River State yesterday, it is the people that will suffer in terms of service delivery and all of that. Speaking of which, some of the commentary coming from River State as far as the violence that played out yesterday is that they have been left naked, is that the police has failed in its responsibility to protect those structures. So in the future, I know you've said that, you know, state police is subject to abuse, but going forward, security is critical for River State. Should the state be reflecting on its choices for state policing, developing some form of security guard, if the assurances from the federal police force is not, you know, cast in stone?
Fantastic question, Bukola. But one thing we need to understand and address for the purpose of our national integrity is that we need to call our politicians to order. What happened in Rivers State yesterday is a clear indication that the state of insecurity in Nigeria is being orchestrated and motivated by our political elites. Because the marital bliss between politicians and talks is a subject of national emergency. How come do we have punishment on this hand from our national institutions, and we have politicians, motivating and instigating talks to go and commit crime. Then crime flourish. What they are doing is that they are certifying crime. They are telling the people that, hey, it's okay to commit crime. And when this incident is over, most of these politicians pull back, and these people they made use of in destroying lives and property, committing arson, will fall back to crime, criminal activities. And that is one of the major problems we're facing in this area, the certification of crime. Our leaders must understand that there's a country called Nigeria, and whatever they do lives after them. And they must not forget that this country needs to breathe. And if this country must breathe, they must stop patronizing talks. They must stop patronizing talks. Oh. If you keep on patronizing talks, most of these guys will now take the path of terrorism, and that is where we are today.
Well, Mr. Osaje, we have to anchor at this point, but all our eyes on Rivers State, as well as other states.
Rivers of blessing.
If your state is doing great stuff, we're coming there as well, but we have to thank you once again, Dixon Osaje, security expert.
I like that. Rivers of blessing.
Rivers of blessing.
Amen
for your
to that.
time on the show. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We'll take a moment now. When we return,
you can imagine what happened. In short, I don't need to go back to all those stories. We all know how they wanted to take over, the INEC office where these materials were kept, and Fubara didn't want to give them chances. When Fubara said, no, guess what? IG had to withdraw all the police. Even during the day of the election, they said they were not going to participate. And guess what? The election even went peacefully, even more peacefully than when we have police on ground. So guys, that has kept Nigerians talking. As in, people have been reacting that without police, elections were conducted and there was no record of, any form of misconduct or anything that will obstruct people's peace. That's to tell you that the police knows what INEC is doing, and INEC is working together with them. So guys, take a look at the new commissioner of police. Just take a look at this. But before then, I want you to equally watch this video. Just watch this video for yourself to take the reaction of this man. Take a look. So guys, you can see that finally it has been proven that the police knows what is going on in Nigeria when it comes to rigging of election. I just keep saying that this election is an eye-opener to every Nigerian who cares to know, We've just been allowing things happen, and we just keep pointing fingers at INEC. INEC is not working alone. This is like a gang. INEC works with the police. INEC strategizes, uses the police to execute. Then when they go to court to say, no, they now use the judiciary to perfect all their work. So guys, this election in Rivers State can never be forgotten. Somebody just said that they should let it be something that will be brought into into the curriculum. People should study what really happened, just to tell you the effect of this election that happened in Rivers State. Honestly, it remains shocking to Nigerians to come to know that the police can actually be the one. The police is actually the one destroying our democracy. With the instrumentality of INEC and the rest of them, they are the ones destroying this country. And that is why we all must say no to what we are seeing. In short, enough of all this. Enough of them taking us for granted. Enough of them just destroying this country. Look at the country is not moving forward. You can't finish school and you have a job. Nothing is working in this nation. I mean, nothing. And it does not even concern them. Honestly, it doesn't concern them because guess what? Their children are not in Nigeria. They are making enough money. The taxpayers' money is going into their pocket. They use it to sponsor their children overseas. You who is paying the tax, your children have no opportunity when it comes to the government of the day. I mean, they don't even put your children into consideration. It's only in Africa we have this backwardness. This cannot happen in developed countries. You can't be paying the tax and they take it and pocket it and it's just for them, their families, their wards. Their children don't attend schools in Nigeria. Majority of them are outside the country. And then you are the one that is meant to bear all these things. So guys, It's an eye-opener. It's a lesson we all must learn from. I just hope that from today, we'll get to know that INEC is one of the people we should be placing our eyes on when elections are to be conducted. Because enough of all this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Thank you.